on the internet talks a lot about privilege, right? It's some of us are privileged enough not to have that relationship with the police. We're privileged enough not to see that stuff happen to us. And I think that needs to be talked about a little bit more, because some people are just like, well, the police, my relationship with the police is, speaking personally, because I grew up out west, and also the relationship that I had with the police was, I thought that I was always doing something wrong. You know, like if I was pulled over by the police, I was automatically doing something wrong. That's my personal experience. Wasn't necessarily that, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is, let's talk a little bit about privilege and why it's important for us to recognize that that some of us have the privilege to, based on our skin color. And I know that all of us here are people of color. But what are your viewpoints about privilege, and how do we kind of help other people to recognize that privilege, and how do we bring more awareness to it? How do we talk about this sort of thing?
I mean, I think that we are talking about it, and I think what Dalara said is really important about, it's something that you do on occasion, all right? It's something that we talk about every day. It's something that we learn about every day, and things that we need to unlearn, we commit to that every day for the rest of our lives. It's not just, it's a lifestyle. There's nothing that, reading about stuff and being interested and letting that interest grow into genuine research that is based in your commitment to doing your part. It's problematic to always use these terms like allyship. There are arguments that say that if somebody benefits from your oppression in the form of privilege, then they actually cannot be your ally. So you will never have the same interests. And, in American history, I can't remember the poet at the moment, but, this idea that a slave and a slave master will never have the same interest. So it's a question that we have to ask every day. And I appreciate the conversations, and I think it is really important to do our own research and let it be something that we're doing for ourselves and not for anybody else.
Yeah, 100%.
I like to add that point you made there, do it for ourselves, not for anyone else. That's a really good point, in a sense of, especially with social media pressure, especially with the movement, the posting, the black square, the, just sharing information. I try to see both sides of the coin. I get it as well. But at the same time, posting for the sake of posting, just for it's trendy, or just say, I've done my part. I've posted my square. It doesn't end there. It shouldn't end there. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a big thing. And I think it's also on the flip side of the coin, it's easy to condemn people if they don't share anything. Because social media is so easy to, it's broadcast to the world. At the very least, someone that's not posting anything, which was me at the start. At first I was like, I feel it's such a serious thing. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. My first post was just the hashtag with a black square, but it really got me paying attention. But at the least, just reiterating what Tina's saying, it's learning. It's you gotta really start looking into it and start living it, not just a passing thing. This isn't just a media trend, the new viral sensation, the new TikTok dance or whatever. It's guys, something's happening here. The world is telling you something. A lot of people are affected by this. You got to know where you stand, and everyone stands on different levels. Even us being Asian, Filipino, I don't know, yellow skinned people. I hope that's not racist, but anyway.
You can say yellow Asian and brown.
You can say yellow Asian. Okay, I don't know anymore, but that's what I mean. Get uncomfortable. Say it. Not say anything. Say it, and then get corrected by it. You know what I mean? I'm learning myself. And I think before, like I said, you see this stuff all the time. You see the black people getting sent to jail. and thinking it's enough, like, oh, I empathize with that. Yeah, we're Asian. We feel racism on occasion too. But the truth is, it's like, we're privileged as well, in that sense that while we do get some sort of form of racism, I've never felt like I was gonna get fucking killed.
Yeah.
For driving like over the speed limit or just something ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing. I think if anything, people of color that may not be Black, but like a bit more, like, it's more of a reason to speak out, because we do feel some form of racism. And I have a lot of white friends that I had a mate from on Instagram that just posted something. And sometimes just to send like a bit of encouragement to reiterate what they've done, like, hey man, thanks for, like, I'm not Black, but like, hey man, that's really cool that you're speaking out. And he honestly told me, like, I really didn't know what to say. At this point, like, the more and more I looked into it, it's just not even color anymore. It's just being human, like humanity. Like, if anything, me being white, I have more of a reason to fight this. This is my fight more than the Black people. They're the ones getting done for it. Me being the privileged person, I have the power to do something about it. And I think that's really important. So like, yeah, that's just one thing I've learned. It's like, it's a start, right, Tina? Like, it's a lifestyle change. The thing you mentioned about unlearning certain things that we used to think may not be that big of an issue, you got to put into place, start practicing it. Because, you know, like, we talk a lot of shit too, man. Filipinos, we talk a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Icebreaker. I just had to make it. I had to lighten it up, and I was getting too deep.
There's so much tension and deepness.
There's so much tension. I had to be like, yo, we talk a lot of shit too. You know, Asians can be racist too. Like, because we cop racism, it's not an excuse to be racist. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I would just want to touch on that real quick as well. Like, yes, it is. Yeah. Yes, it is an issue about racism, but it is, like, in the bigger sense of it, it's an issue about humanity. Like, how do we treat each other? We're all humans. We're all part of the same race, or the human race, right?
I'm just surprised, or like, I'm just watching the world of how 2020 has became this coming together type of feel.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen protests happen. You've seen the way they protested before, whether it be a more passive way of doing it, or from Colin Kaepernick kneeling to other protests as well. But it seems like this protest that's happened this week or the past few weeks, it feels a bit different. It feels a bit more that awareness has been given out to the world. Like, I feel now I'm more interested in trying to figure out a way that I can help. Like, a lot more people are more aware of what's going on, especially in Australia with the Aboriginal community. Like, there's things that we are not aware of, or that is not general knowledge, that we have to dive deep into. And I feel this year is a bit different compared to like how it was in the past, because this has been going on for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious to know anyone's thoughts on why this message has been sent across differently than anything other. Is it the rioting? Is it the way it's been presented, or like what's different about this year?
Does it feel different to you guys, Tina, Dalara? Does this?
I just to quickly kind of touch on some of the things that you guys touched on. I mean, speaking of privilege, you know, like, India is part of Asia, Philippines is close by, you know, and the thing is that to varying degrees between Australia and the United States, or maybe the same degree, Asians of all colors, yellow and brown, racially profiled as white by the police. And so that's something that prevents us from truly being able to understand the terror that is enacted on Indigenous and Black communities, not just here and there, but around the world too. And, you know, I think that the reason it's different now is because we've all been saying this shit for over 20, like for me, I've been saying it for 20 years, and nobody listened when I came to Sydney and dared to say the word people of color. People fucking saw me as aggressive and a threat. And I think that now we've been messaging this stuff long enough that it's probably clearer. And I know that my messaging is clearer than when I was really enraged and traumatized in my 20s without being able to respond rather than react. And this is the perfect time for people to learn that not only are there varying levels of privilege, but white privilege cannot be lost. And white people in the United States and in Australia have a fear of losing ground and losing white privilege, but now they're seeing that, well, they're not going to have anyone's knee on, they can shoot up a black church and they will not have anybody's knee on their neck. They will get taken to McDonald's for a snack.
Yeah. Yeah. There was that, yeah, the person that killed
Dylan
someone.
Ruth.
They took him to Hungry Jack's or something. We shouldn't mention names because they're not paying us, but yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that people think that, you know, if we promote that Black Lives Matter, then that means that white people's lives don't matter. That's the mentality that they think, but that's not the case. That's not how it's been happening.
The real reason that that's happening is because of the whiteness as a racial construct is built on the difference from blackness. And that's what white femininity is. There's a lot tied in there. And the reason that that's the response is because if blackness is given the right to live and the right to exist, then whiteness can't really continue to exist in the sense that we know it now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think another thing too, just to add on why this protest might be like different, right? Like there's more, like I look in the crowds and it's mixed. Sometimes like, I think the Sydney ones from pictures, a lot of Aussies as well, you know, like white Australians as well. It's once again, the education piece, but also visibility. Like you like how many people witnessed a black man get murdered on camera? Before, like media is such a powerful weapon, like pretty much it's been used. I don't know, I might sound like a fruity conspiracy theorist right now, but controlling the media can really have an effect. You've seen it back in, I don't know, I don't know the years, but you know what I mean? Like they'll set an image, like I think the slaves, they were portrayed as these criminals, as these animals, rapists or whatnot. You can flip the narrative so easy, but I think where we are now in terms of technology, connectivity of the world, like how global it is, it's not just isolated to a country. And the actual movement, Black Lives Matter, you can't pinpoint it on a group. It's a hashtag. There's no address. There's no physical address to be like, we're gonna, the white people are gonna target that, the racists, like we gotta shut them down. It's like, you can't fucking shut it down. It's a hashtag. It's everywhere and everyone saw it. And now people that didn't realize there was an issue are like, whoa, okay. And it's only gonna, like, I'm hoping it grows from here. And I think that's what's giving it a lot more traction than it did before. Because before it'd just be something like in the news that you might hear about and it's gone the next day onto the next topic or whatnot.
And that's you're not a fruity conspiracy theorist at all. It is 100% true that these.
I believe that. I just say that as just in case.
Yeah, like,
I do believe that.
It's true. These people, these elite do control the media and they do want to push a certain narrative. And with the power of the internet, it's just
it's turned on its head.
It's just turned on its head. When I was at the protest on Tuesday, a lot of the speakers were talking about, you know, I'm so grateful for the power of the internet, because if this Facebook event didn't push, then a bunch of people probably wouldn't be here. So yeah,
you can clearly see the difference. I went to the one yesterday in London. This was my first protest. Like this, seeing all this really hit me that I've never been to a protest. I never really saw the like appeal, not the appeal, but you know what I mean? Like it's kind of just like, yeah, I can support from afar if I at least acknowledge it. That was the mentality before. But with all this happening, I was inclined, like, I gotta go. I gotta check it out. And being there, just seeing, like, you just felt like you're really part of something. Like you feel empowered almost. I'm not Black, but I feel like, you know what, just showing that I'm here to support speaks volumes in that sense as well. Sorry, there's a train. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
keep
It
going.
sounds like someone's flushing a toilet.
Sorry. I gotta fix this, man. It's the worst. My podcast has like train sounds all the time. But I was gonna say, sorry, once again, with that point that I'm trying to say, like the difference with that me being there firsthand, I already know, I'm seeing it. I'm like, this is beautiful. People chanting, people of so many different colors. It wasn't just all black. If anything, I think there was more different random races as well together, holding up signs. That's beautiful. I like this was better than any music festival where I just get drunk and just party up. I like this more. I was like, this feels like we're actually doing something. And then just today, a day after the protest, you don't see shit about the good stuff. Like you see a bit of it because that doesn't sell. That doesn't get attention. You won't see a headline, oh, such a peaceful protest. London was so nice and happy. No, they show the one incident where like some dude that it's inevitable, it's going to happen, opportunist, some guy that chucks a bike at a horse, only in London. I don't know why. Chucks a bike at a horse. That's the front page.
Yeah.
And then they're showing all the bullshit that's happening. I'm like, I didn't see that. But like, yeah, that's bound to happen. Shit like that's going to happen. And it's the same shit that happens in America. I'm very sure. Like I have a friend in New York and, you know, she is saying like, it is pretty messed up, but they're going to like exaggerate the bad shit depending on the media that uses it. And our social media is like sort of challenging that. Well, the people with the right, on the right side of it, basically, you can expose it for what it is. And yeah, that's it. It's just the comparisons, completely different from being there as opposed to what you see on the news. Because I already know a lot of my aunties and uncles are going to be messaging me like, Nathan, why did you go? It's so dangerous. Why would you do that? You're putting yourself in danger. And I'm like, it was not danger. It was more civilized than a rave or a music festival that I've been to be completely honest with you. Was that like for you, SK, man? Like, it looked like it was pretty...
It was great. I loved it. I love mobilizing.
It's all fun and games until the police
Pepper spray everyone.
Yeah, that's
Dalara, has the protest felt different to you? I mean, that was
of
big
course.
question.
Obviously, this year it's like a completely different year to any other because of the events of the first 6 months. Obviously, the fires, and then going into now the pandemic of COVID, and obviously now the Black Lives Matter movement. It is different. I feel like there are a lot of people wanting to learn now, especially in my circle of people that I've known for several years, especially in the acting world, people that I went to NIDA with. I've continuously put things up or out there over several years, and it won't get a lot of buzz, but somehow now there's people liking or sharing my statuses that I know they've seen it, but it just didn't affect them as much, or they just did not know compared to now. And I think because of social media, if you look on every platform, there's somebody talking about it, and not just one person, multiple people are talking about it. So you can't really escape it. And I think that's what made it different, that you couldn't hide. If you went on Facebook, it's everywhere. If you went on, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, it's everywhere. You just could not escape the topic. And I think that's the thing that nobody can turn a blind eye to this.
Yeah, they can't plead ignorance anymore.
Absolutely.
No, because it is absolutely everywhere.
I just want to, sorry.
Oh my God, yeah.
I was just going to say that, yes, the internet is amazing in being able to connect all of us, but let's just also, give credit where credit's due. People of color-led media, that it's allowing all of us to be presenters and talking heads and be experts on stuff that we know that we're not allowed to be authorities on outside of certain contexts. And now, I've noticed the same thing. People have been trying to silence me for 4 decades, and now I'm starting to get pats on the back and, oh, we should have listened to you sooner, and maybe there is something to what maybe you're not paranoid like we thought, or disturbed. And the thing is that it's because those people of color in the media and doing their own things are refusing to stop agitating and making people uncomfortable, that are way too comfortable, and tell themselves stories that help them sleep at night.
100%.
Yeah.
When, you know, every time I look on Google and try to find some articles on what's happening, I'm clicking on NITV, I'm clicking on Koori Radio. I'm no longer clicking on like Channel 9 or 7 anymore, especially when it came to the protest that happened the other day.
Yeah.
Because when I read those articles, they're not reporting it right. They're not, I feel like they're not. And when I read the ones from NITV or the footage that they've got there, it's like, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I saw. And yeah, definitely giving props to those media outlets that are pushing the right kind of news.
Yeah, absolutely.